This restaurant classic is something you can make at home. Crispy pancakes served with a soy and vinegar dipping sauce. That's the non-spicy one. And then of course we have a spicy dipping sauce option too with my coconut sriracha. Okay, so whether you're calling them spring onions or scallions in your part of the world, that doesn't matter. The important thing is that these are really delicious and super easy to make at home. The dough is only 3 ingredients. 1, some flour. 2, a little bit of salt. Let's mix that up. Just create a bit of a well in the center there. And then just pour in some hot water. It's as simple as that. Now just mix that until the wooden spoon starts to become a bit unwieldy. And I'm going to get in there with my hands. Okay, so once that has come together in the bowl, I'm going to get it out onto my bench. And I want to knead this until it's really smooth. Now I can feel already it's kind of sticking to the palm of my hand. So I'm going to grab a little extra flour here. Sprinkle that on top. And then just keep kneading. Okay, so once this starts to feel really kind of firm and it looks really smooth, just ball it up and then you can tell it's ready by just poking your finger on there and the dough springs back really quickly. That way I know that I've kneaded it enough. And now cover that with some baking paper. And then you want to let that rest for about 45 minutes. So that dough is still a little bit warm to the touch. And the purpose of that hot water is to allow it to sort of steam and relax and get nice and soft inside of that baking paper. So while that dough is resting, let's do our dipping sauces. Now for the first one, it's a very traditional soy and sesame dipping sauce. So I want some soy sauce and some vinegar. If you can get a hold of some black Chinese vinegar, that would be a great one to use here, but I've just got regular white vinegar and a little dash of sesame oil. And now some garlic. I'm just going to finely grate that straight in. I'm going to steal a little bit of the spring onion I'm going to use later in my pancake just for my dipping sauce. Mix that through. I just love that sesame salty flavor and then that little bit of heat that comes from that raw garlic. Oh, so good. Put that into my serving bowl so we're all ready. And then absolutely not traditional, you won't find this in a Chinese restaurant, but at my house you'll find these spring onion pancakes with my coconut sriracha. This guy is hot, so if you're a fan of hot sauces, this one's for you. If you're not, steer clear. I don't want to be responsible for anyone getting hurt. And I just love that tiny little hint of coconut flavor, which kind of rounds out the heat and gives you a little bit of sweetness. Okay, so I've gone away and had a cup of tea and my dough is now ready to get going. You can see just how soft and smooth that is. I'm just gonna roll this out into a cylinder, just makes it a bit easier to divide it up evenly. Okay, so I want about 8 pieces here. I'm gonna cut that in half first, cut this one in half, and in half again. Okay, so just move these guys over here and I want to keep them covered with that baking paper so they don't dry out too much. Now I want to put some flour down, make sure we don't get any sticking. Grab one of these pieces. Now just take one piece there and just push down and then I want a nice even circle to start with. Okay, so the next part is all about creating those flaky layers inside of our pancake. And I just want to roll this up from the bottom and then roll that cylinder into a round. Tuck that in and now roll this piece out. And then once you get it to about 12 centimeters in diameter, just grab some sesame oil and brush that all over the top. And then a good handful of spring onions. Make sure you go right to the edge. Now just sprinkle that with a little bit of salt and roll it up again. Okay, and then once more, bring that around into a circle, squash down, sprinkle a little bit more flour on top, and then roll that out. Now don't worry if some of those spring onions escape. I quite like a rustic looking pancake anyway. That way everyone knows they're homemade. Now to cook these guys, just need a hot pan, a little bit of oil, and then in we go. Now the idea here is that we want to cook the pancake through as well as getting those speckled spots of charriness on the outside of the pancake. Let's flip this guy over. Ah, that is the perfect color. See what I mean about those speckles of charred brown goodness there? Now I like to cut these into little triangles so everyone can have a piece to dip. Ah, listen to that crunching sound. And then let's have a look here so you can see the little layers that we've created, those little pockets of spring onion as well. So flaky. So I'm just going to leave this pancake on the side while I cook the others. If you wanted to keep them really warm, you could just pop them in the oven as you get them done. Now to serve them all up, I just like to pile them on up onto a serving plate. My dipping sauce is on the side, soy and sesame, and coconut sriracha. And there you go guys, a restaurant classic that really is a cinch to make at home. And of course, I'll try one and let you know how it goes. Some sort of magic that happens when spring onions get all charred and brown. Yum. And that dough, so easy, but so light and flaky. Yum. If you've got any comments or questions, pop them below. And if you enjoyed the video, why not hit that subscribe button plus the little bell one, and that way you'll get notified every time I release a new video. Thanks guys.